Q4 is the hardest time when it comes to focusing on your health and fitness goals. And unfortunately, everybody has the same mindset, which is, hey, I'll push the, losing body fat and building muscle. I'll just wait until next year. I'll wait until after the holidays. I'll start January 1st. But what typically happens? It's just like we cut out our carbs. We try to work out every single day for 2 hours on end, and we fall off track, typically by March. And that's why if you look up any of the stats, 90% of New Year's resolutions typically fail. And I don't want you guys to fail. I want you guys to be successful when it comes to losing fat and building muscle, because honestly, it doesn't have to be hard. You don't need to spend hours in the gym. You don't need to cut out your carbs. You don't need to cut out your favorite foods. You don't need to avoid alcohol, anything like that. All you need is just a game plan to follow. That's it. So that's why I want to make sure in today's video, I just give you 3 of the best tips. That's it. These are 3 tips that I use. These are 3 tips that my coaching clients use when it comes to losing fat and building muscle, but also maintaining success along busy seasons of life. Regardless if it's the holidays, maybe if it's travels, anything like that, they're able to have the right mindset. So pay close attention, because once again, I want to make sure that you're successful when it comes to reaching your goals. And you're not just going through this yo-yo dieting, right? Of lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, and you're just on and off, on and off. Because as a dad, think about it. That's not being a better role model to my son, right? That's not being a good leader. It's showing him that, hey, at the end of the day, when it comes to your health and fitness goals, or when it comes to any kind of goals that you have, it's okay to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Bad mentality to have, right? And I'm a firm believer that, hey, actions speak a lot louder than words. So I want to be the type of dad that's leading by example. I want to be the one that's not just talking the talk, but actually walking the walk. And here's the best part. You can too. Because in today's video, once again, I'm going to be sharing you 3 of the best tips. So for starters, number 1, it's all about nutrition. But it's not the nutrition that you may think of, right? Of, hey, tracking your macros every single day and sticking to this diet, this regimen, and just saying, hey, muster through it. Don't eat the pumpkin pie and, don't have some alcohol or anything like that. I'm not talking about that, okay? I know a lot of guys that when they fall off track, it's very hard to get right back on the horse, And if they try to get back to, let's say, tracking their macros and trying to figure out, their calories and sticking with a protocol when it comes to their nutrition, it could be biting off way too much that they can chew too early on, And so I want you to think about a train. A train uses the most amount of energy in the very beginning, but it doesn't actually go anywhere, right? It doesn't actually have that momentum yet. And it's the same thing with you on your health and fitness journey, which means that for starters, you got to give yourself something easy. If let's just say when you're on track with everything, like in the summertime, you're walking, you're working out, you're drinking plenty of water, you're tracking your macros, everything is great, right? You're perfect at everything. Well, trying to get back to that, if you fell off track for maybe a week or 2 or maybe even longer, it's very hard to do, because then what typically happens next is this whole thing of the good wolf versus the bad wolf, which is we look into the past of, oh man, I used to be in good shape and it was so easy for me back then. Now it's so hard and difficult for me. But once again, wrong mentality to have. It's just going back to that train. We haven't built up the momentum yet. Now, how do we do it? Simple. Slow and steady wins the race. We start off with maybe the first week or 2, just focusing on your protein. That's it. You don't need to be doing the burpees and backflips and tracking everything under the sun and all that. Kid you not, right? If you can, hats off to you. I'm just telling you what works for me and what works for my coaching clients. So when it comes down to nutrition, how to stay fit during the holidays, right? And especially during travels and whatnot, just focus on hitting your protein goal. That's it. If you're way over on your calories, sure, right? That's going to have a negative effect. But the reality is, 9 out of 10 guys that sign up for our coaching program, they have a slow metabolism. And the reason why they have a slow metabolism is because they have a horrible relationship with food and they're under eating on protein. So if you can just focus, even if you're over on the calories, just focus on hitting your protein goal, you're going to be perfectly fine. Okay, so that's tip number 1. The second tip, right, has everything to do with movement. Now, movement is very broad, and I want to keep it that way specifically for this and for you to be more successful on your health and fitness journey. I don't want to say, hey, dial back the workouts. If let's say you're in the gym, 5 times a week, dial down to just 3 times a week. I don't want to say, stick with doing, this regimen and this workout program at home. No, because remember, at the end of the day, during Q4, right? And the holidays, it is so busy. And typically, you're not going to be in control over your schedule, right? There might be some weeks where, hey, you have access to go to the gym and work out, and you have access to stick to your regimen right at home and get in better shape. But maybe the next week you're traveling for work, or maybe the next week it's the holidays, or whatever the case may be, right? So a better protocol to follow is just focus on movements 30 minutes a day. That's it. And you can make it so simple. But the reality is why it needs to be simple is because simple equals sustainable. You know, like this season of life that you're in right now with Q4 and the holidays, it's not going to last forever. But yet mentally, we feel like, oh, hey, if we can't work out, if we can't go to the gym and, stick to this workout split for the next, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, what's the point of me even trying? I'd rather just stop and wait until after the holidays. I wait until January 1st. But then, hey, we gain all this excess body fat, and then we try to hit it way too hard, right, in the beginning of the year, and once again, we fall off track. I get it, guys. Like, trust me, I understand exactly everything you're going through. I've been coaching guys for over 10 years now. I understand. So hear me out. Focus on movement 30 minutes a day. That could be literally you just taking a walk with your kids. That could be you just, maybe do some push-ups and sit-ups right at home. That could be you going to the gym. That could be you investing in some dumbbells or some kettlebells and just doing a quick little 20, 30-minute circuit right at home, okay? Like, once again, flexibility is key. Look at your schedule when you wake up and just say, okay, where could I plan to just move my body and just figure out how to fit in a quick 30-minute workouts or 30-minute walk or 30-minute cardio, anything like that, okay? If you did that, day by day, I promise you, you're going to stay way more consistent than trying to manage traveling and finding a gym and doing this. And once again, it's not going to work, right? I'm giving you tips here to be successful on your health and fitness journey. The last tip is probably the most important one, and it's all about your mindset. And it's not the mindset of the gratitude journaling and, saying affirmations and meditation. Like, those are all great for a time and place. But Q4, and especially with the holidays, you want to have the mindset of giving yourself grace. Because if you don't, you're going to have this all-in, all-out mentality, and it's not going to work at all. Because once again, you're going to completely fall flat on your face and go right back to your old ways. And then try to pick up everything back up in the New Year's, and it's not going to be sustainable. So what is the best mindset to have? Give yourself grace. Like, stop trying to be perfect. Nobody is perfect, right? Nobody, right? The fittest guy in the world, obviously it ain't me, right? But the fittest guy in the world, he ain't perfect or she ain't perfect. It doesn't exist, okay? So stop making it so harder for yourself. Like, realistically, especially if you're a dad watching this right now, just what would be the advice that you would give your son or your daughter if they were playing a sport and they had a bad game, right? Or they were trying to, stick to a workout regimen and they fell off track and they're trying to get back on. Like, you would probably give them the best advice in the world, saying, hey, it's okay. Consistency, right? Progress over perfection. Like, slow and steady wins the race. Just keep on trying. Why don't you give that advice to yourself? Imagine if you gave yourself that advice and actually followed through with it. I'm here today to just tell you and hopefully, just give you permission, right? To just give yourself grace. That's it. If you overeat on some, cheesecake, right, during the holidays or some pumpkin pie, who cares? It's not like anybody died. You just ate some extra pie. You had some extra calories. Stop trying to be perfect every single day, right? And when it comes to actually losing body fat, this is good for you to understand. It's all about a weekly average anyways. So if you're averaging, let's say 2,000 calories every single day, right? And let's say one day you splurge over and you're at 5,000 calories, great. It's very easy the next following days just to cut back a little bit on the calories. That way, once again, your weekly average is exactly the same. Guys, I want you to be successful, right? Probably more than you want to be successful on your own health and fitness journey. And if you just follow through with these 3 tips, I promise you're going to be able to navigate through Q4 and the holidays and have way better success. And most importantly, have that momentum built up. That way, when everybody's just now starting in the new year's, you're already lost, 10, 15, 20 pounds, and you already have the right habits and mindset built up to leading you for even more success. And if you guys want a little free cheat sheet that's really going to help you out, a free training guide going over exactly what to do for your body type and how to actually lose fat and build muscle, without dieting or without living in the gym every single day. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, just click on the link down below. Their very first link, you'll find a completely free training guide. I highly recommend you guys check it out. As always, this has been Joe Callari with Heartletics.com, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace out, Girl Scouts.